Hi guys, and welcome into the American Man. Today's episode, we're gonna be going over some polling in the election here. It looks like Kamala Harris's blue wall up in the Midwest might be falling. So we're gonna be covering that, going over it, talking about it, as Trump is gaining momentum in the polls. It's a good place to be if you're Donald Trump, and a bad place to be if you're Kamala Harris. So guys, if this is your first time watching, make sure to subscribe. We make political videos talking about more right-leaning stuff. Obviously, I am a Trump supporter, so I got a little bit of that right bias to me. But if you guys enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing. All right, let's get into it. So we're coming into it today. I'm going to start off here looking at the odds of the presidential election. If we come into polling market here, it's giving Trump a 54.7% chance of winning the election. Now, this isn't a poll. This is just basically the odds, like the betting market. And I think this is one of the best way to gauge where everything is at this moment, because people are betting money on it. And if you follow the money, that typically takes you to where the best or everything's heading, right? And so right now, Donald Trump looks to be at the heavy favorite. Maybe not heavy, but he is the favorite. I mean, having about 9%, 10% lead over Harris in the odds, that's a pretty high lead, and that's the highest lead he's had since Harris got into the race. So he's in a really good spot. He's gaining momentum, and it's starting to take off. If we come down here, we can really look at it. In the last week, he's really just taken off. And he's about 10 points of separation there. So it's a pretty good place to be if you're Donald Trump. If we come down here and we look at the swing states, we got Trump at a 66% chance of winning Arizona. I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that he's going to get Arizona. There's a pretty good shot he gets it. There's a lot left to play. We're a month out, so a lot can change in a month, especially the last month. It gets pretty crazy and hectic. So we got him at 66% in Arizona, 64% in Georgia. And right here, Pennsylvania, this is the most important one in my opinion. Pennsylvania, we got him at 53%. I think the whole election is going to come down to Pennsylvania. I don't think there is a path for Harris to win the election without Pennsylvania, and the same goes for Trump. So really, whoever wins Pennsylvania wins the election. And honestly, if I was either one of these campaigns, I would spend a majority of my time in Pennsylvania because it is that important. Now, if I'm Donald Trump, odds in Pennsylvania have in recent weeks really started to go in Trump's way. Polling is looking good for Trump. Internal polling is showing that Trump is pulling ahead, which is a good place to be in. We come down, let's get out here. Let's go to Michigan. Michigan right now is at a 50-50. It's a coin toss. This is one that can really go either way. But right now, I would say it's a little lean Harris. But I think Trump definitely has a really, really good shot of closing that gap here in the next month and potentially taking Michigan. Same in Wisconsin, 51%, 49%. Very close. I'd give the edge to Harris right now. But Trump, I think, has a very good shot of closing the gap there. Nevada, 51% Harris, 49% Trump. Now, Nevada is a state that has, in the past few elections, overfavored Republicans in the polling, which you don't see that anywhere else. I mean, you've only seen that in Nevada. And right now, Trump is leading in Nevada in the polling, but they have Harris at a higher odds of winning that, and I think that's why. I would say right now, with my prediction, I would say Harris probably does win Nevada, but I would not write off any of these states for Trump to come out and win any of these. Trump is a phenomenal closer. With it being so close, I think there's a chance that he could win all of these. He could do a clean sweep. But I don't even think it has that as odds on here. But if it does for Kamala, but not Trump. Look at that. They got 55% for the Republican star for Trump to win presidency, 77% for the Senate, and 55% for the House. Now let's go over to Real Clear Politics, and let's look at what the polls they have over there. Well, Real Clear Politics definitely, historically, with all their polling, it has shown a little more of a bump to Democrats. So it's been a little unfavorable to Trump. So it's underestimated how he's actually done in elections. But if we come into here and look at today, Trump is up in every swing state except Wisconsin. And we've never seen that, ever. So this is putting Trump in a very, very good place. If we come into the news in recent days, we're seeing Democrats start to hit the panic button. Democrats are freaking out because Kamala had, over the weekend and over this week, she had kind of her media blitz. Didn't do well. It didn't work out well for her. And it's looking like it hurt her in the polling. So, good place to be for Trump. Trump's definitely gaining momentum. If we come in here, well, actually, let's go. Some other news. This is probably my most favorite one that came out this week. Jim Cramer. I don't see how Trump wins the presidency. Now, if any of you are familiar with Jim Cramer, everything that he predicts, typically the opposite happens. So, Cramer saying a Harris win, that almost certifies Trump win. But we'll see. We'll come over here. The Democrat internal polling has not been good for Harris, and that's why they're freaking out, right? So we look at here. This is from the Wall Street Journal. An internal poll done by Democrat Tammy Baldwin's Senate campaign last week showed that Harris is down by 3 percentage points in Wisconsin. Well, Baldwin was up only by 2 points, according to a person familiar with the poll. So that's a 5% point difference between Harris and Baldwin. I'm not surprised to see that. I think there probably would be a little more favorability with Baldwin than Harris, but that is quite a spread there. But the public polling is showing a slight lead for Harris, but internal polling, I think it's pretty unanimous. The internal polling is showing that Harris is down. So internal polling tends to be the best polling because it's like they're honest with themselves, right? So they're getting honest feedback, and it's showing Harris down 3 percentage points. And Wisconsin tends to be one of the hardest states to poll, so their results can differ the most from their polling than any other state. But I don't know what the reason is, but Wisconsin has historically been one of the most difficult states to poll. Now, if we come over here, this is one that I found very interesting as well. Look, if we look at this. So if we're comparing where Joe Biden was in 2020 and Kamala Harris is today, she's in a very bad position, right? So it's looking, Joe Biden was in a much favorable polling position than Kamala Harris is, especially in the blue wall states, these are the states that won the election, the most important states. So if we come in here, at this point last year, Joe Biden was up 10 points on Trump. That is huge. That's a huge lead. And if we come to today, Harris is only up 2.5. So that is, and if you take that and you look at how much Joe Biden just narrowly won, and he was up by that much. And Trump right now is within 2.5 points nationally. That's a very bad sign for Kamala Harris. And so if we come down here, nationally, Biden was ahead by 10 points. Harris was only by 2.5. In Pennsylvania, Biden was up by 7. Harris leads less than 1 point. Same thing in Wisconsin. And in Michigan, Biden was up by 2 points. Harris leads by less than a point. This is horrific territory. If you're Kamala Harris, if I was in the Kamala campaign, I would be extremely nervous, and I would be just petrified, horrified of what this means for us coming into the next month. And the Trump campaign right now is feeling very confident that they can win this thing. So if we can look at Michigan, where Biden won by about 2.5-3%. It was a close race. And right now, polling was showing that Biden was up by a lot more than that. And that's how much he ended up winning by. So if we pull that same kind of theory into this election, Trump is up in Michigan, right? Let's go look at the map and see what are the possibilities and how it looks right now. So right now it looks like Georgia, Arizona, and North Carolina are going for Trump, right? And so we're going to come in here, and the election's really going to come down to Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I think those are the 4 states that are really, truly up for grabs. I think everything else is pretty much set, but we got those 4 states up for grabs. And right now, with how it's looking, I'm going to say we're going to go Nevada, lean Harris. We're going to go, let's say, just for the sake of this video, Harris gets Wisconsin, Harris gets Michigan, and then it all comes down to Pennsylvania. And Trump can win it with Pennsylvania. So we got 281 to 257, ends up being a very close election. But let's say that right now, with how the trend's going, Trump gets Michigan, Trump gets Wisconsin, Trump gets Nevada. That is a really big win for Trump, and that's bigger than when he did it in 2016. I think that's definitely in play. We look at, say, if it gets close to the end and we're getting into a situation where these states all look like locks. I mean, the election's over. I think the next states that you'd put in play is Minnesota and Virginia, potentially New Mexico, maybe even New Hampshire. But right now, I think it comes down to those 4 states. Like I said, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada. I think Arizona and Georgia are pretty. I think those ones are pretty set in the Trump's category right now. But yeah, Trump is. They think that they think they're in the lead. They think they have a good shot of winning it, and that's why Trump is going into states that are like blue states and campaigning. Which, I mean, it doesn't necessarily make the most sense, but he wants to try to he wants to impact some of those House races, and he wants to try to make way in some of those blue states. I don't know why you would, because you're not going to win them, so what's the point? I know he has a big rally planned at Madison Square Garden, which that is a really cool opportunity to go have a rally like that in New York. Awesome opportunity. Go do it. But yeah, if you guys want, you can go check out my Twitter. Go follow me there. It's right there. And then thank you guys for watching today's video. Subscribe, like the video. I'll be posting more videos like this. Make sure to comment as we get closer to the election here. There is going to be plenty of opportunities to make videos like this. So guys, let me know what your thoughts are, and thank you for watching.